Yo guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a bit of a different video actually. This is the start of a new series I'm starting called Anime Review. Now, the title kind of says it all. I'm going to be reviewing different animes in this series. And it's a series that I would like to continue for a while. It's going to be really cool, and it's something I enjoy doing. There's going to be a lot to do. Talk about. I'm gonna have special guests on this channel, anywhere from one of my best friends all the way to my dad even. Me and him have been talking, or I've asked him to join us on one of the episodes. So yeah, this is all we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna upload probably, it just kind of depends, but for the time being, I'm going to try and upload on Mondays and Fridays to give you guys 2 videos a week. I'm going to try it out at first, and if I don't like it, and if it's kind of like too much for me, then I'm probably just going to upload on Mondays or Fridays. I haven't really decided. Maybe Fridays, maybe Monday, I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to try and do both days for the time being. And yeah, in this episode, we're going to be, in the pilot episode even, we're going to be covering the first season of 7 Deadly Sins. Great anime. Yeah, so let's get into it. Alright, to make things simple, the way we're going to be doing this is I'm going to go over what I did like about the first season of 7 Deadly Sins, and then go over what I didn't like. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you guys if I recommend it to you or not, and give it like a rating, a scale, on a scale of 1 to 10 on how good it was, or how bad it was. But yeah. Alright, so let's start with things that I liked about this series, which, and we've got a lot to go through since I absolutely love this anime, despite only recently watching it. First thing that I like about this show, and that is the individuality and depth of the characters. Now, what I mean by this is each member of the 7 Deadly Sins, and even like the Holy Knights, for example, each have like their own specific thing that they do and stand for, which just adds to the, like I said, adds to the depth and individuality of a character. Like for example, Meliodas, the main character, he's the leader. He's the dragon sin of wrath. He has like his own thing about like his backstory and how he can't control his powers, which is why they had to get sealed away. And that's like his whole thing. But then we have like let's say Escanor, for example. He's not in the first season. But just using him as an example, his whole thing with his powers only being able to activate it during daytime, it's really cool. And a lot of the characters have like their own quirks, well, not quirks as in like from My Hero Academia, but they have their own abilities and ways they what's the word I'm looking for, the ways they use them and utilize them. So yeah, individuality and depth of the characters is really good in this show. And yeah, second thing I liked, now we kind of I got into this a little bit on the first thing when I was talking about the depth, the character depth, but one thing that I do also really like is that goes along it goes along really well with that first point is the character backstory. I gave Meliodas I used Meliodas for an example with his whole wrath thing, and they get into well, actually, not much is known about him in the first season, at least, which they do get into it a little bit more. I can't remember if they explained the whole Liz thing and his backstory with that in the first season, but yeah, he has his whole backstory, and I do know they go into the backstory of Bon with Elaine and stuff. Yeah, so yeah, the character backstory is really good, and it helps explain a lot. Yeah, and another thing with that though is that a lot of it, especially like with Meliodas, it's not explained right away, so you're left wondering, but then it does get explained. So it's not handed to you right away. You have to like watch and continue to figure it out and put the pieces together, which is pretty cool actually. Yeah, no, character backstory is legit in the show. Third thing, which kind of goes with the other two, and not really, but kind of, is the world building. Now, the world building, a lot like with the other things, is really good in the show. When they talk about the whole, like with the underworld thing, as well as like the different kingdoms and how they work together. Like in one of the things I'm gonna get into here in a minute, Camelot. How it they help Leonis out when they needed help, and that was pretty cool. Also, I'm trying to think of other examples, but just like how it talks about the different battles and stuff that happened in the past, and it just adds to the depth of the plot and the world around the characters, as well as the characters themselves. Alright, now number 4. Now this is a little different and from the other ones, and that is the power scale. And what I mean by that is how powerful and destructive each of the 7 deadly sins powers are, as well as the Holy Knights. We see this even in like the first episode with, what's his name, Twiggle or whatever, the knight that's like not important at all. When he uses his attack and cuts down all of those trees, and like, well, not the opening scenes, but in the first episode, we just see how powerful the characters are. We also see this later on during the tournament. Was it the fighting festival when Meliodas fights Bon? That was crazy when they just like went through the mountain, like, and it was just crazy. Again, later on with like towards the end of the show when they do the whole fighting with, what was his name, Hendrickson, when he turns into a demon or whatever. Just the battles and stuff, you just see how much destructive power each of the characters hold in this show. And the way they do it, when they do the power level thing, they do it in the show actually. And it's very Dragon Ball Z-esque, like the way they do it. They have like these things, I forget what they're called, but Hawk has one. They're similar to Saiyan Scouters, if you've ever seen Dragon Ball Z. They allow each character to see other characters' power levels. And yeah, it's really cool how they do it. Yeah. Alright, this next thing, again, it's a bit of a different one, and I touched on this before, and that is the introduction of Camelot in 7 Deadly Sins. Now, if you guys know me, which I never got into this before on my channel, but I'm a big fan of Arthurian legend, so like King Arthur and the Grail Quest and stuff. It was a complete surprise for me when they had the whole King Arthur thing. Like Merlin was mentioned before, but I was like, I didn't think that it would be like the actual Merlin. Yeah, so the whole Camelot thing, and then they had Excalibur later on in the show. Yeah, I thought it was really cool, and it added something different. And just really cool. Like King Arthur in the show is pretty cool. Other animes have done stuff similar. Like one that I can think of when I thought of that is Sword Art Online, when they had the Excalibur sword. Yeah, that was pretty cool in that show. So yeah, when they added Camelot and stuff and mentioned it, I got excited. Alright, so these next two, they kind of coincide, as well as with the other one, when I talked about the power scale. And yeah, so I think the show is very well animated. And what I was gonna also say is that the fight scenes were very well animated. Yeah, the show as a whole, like every scene is just, like I said, very well animated. But yeah, especially in the fight scenes, it's kind of sometimes hard to keep up with the characters just because they're so powerful and they're moving so fast. And with the destruction and stuff all around them, it's just very well animated, and it's surprising how well they could animate it with that much going on. So yeah. Alright, so I don't have a whole lot of time to do this, so I just want to get into the things that I didn't like about the show, which isn't much at all. Like I said before, I really like this show, and it might be my favorite anime now. I just really liked it. So two things I didn't like, and really it's not nothing really that wrong with it, and that's just how annoying some of the characters were. Like King, for example. And like when we first meet King, he's such a dirtbag. Like he's such a jerk. And I get the whole thing like with his sister. And how he like resents Bon for that, and like how his sister died. But even after, he's like a bit of a butt, to be frank. Like he's very annoying in my opinion. And that's another thing. The new generation, the Holy Knights that drank the demon blood, they were annoying. Like they were very annoying. Like Gila, I think her name was the chick, when she fought King. She was annoying, and all of the characters, they wore the knight helmets that looked like gallons. I forgot what they were called, but yeah, they were all just annoying. They do get better later on, and they become less annoying, but yeah, those were some pretty big things for me. And again, the show itself is great. It's just those little things that I nitpicked at. In conclusion, I'd say for this, out of 10, for this show, or at least, not for the show, but the first season, the first season was really good. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. Only because, the reason I don't give it a 10 out of 10 is because of those little things that I nitpicked at. Yeah, so 9.5 out of 10. No, I thought the first season was really well done. It had the, what was it, when it ended, when they fought Hendrickson, I thought it ended very well. Again, like with season 2, and like the brewing of the war against the 10 Commandments and stuff like that. But just season 1 by itself, like there could have been no season 2, 3, or 4, and season 1 would just be amazing by itself. So yeah, I highly recommend it as well, to anybody who like just either has been a long time anime watcher and for some reason hasn't seen this, or for somebody who has never heard of anime at all. I recommend this to anyone. It's a great story, and yeah, it's very well done in the first season. So yeah, that's all I have time for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode. There should be another episode, possibly. I'm going to try and come out with another episode on Friday. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed.